Tina and I have been together for 20 years. Our marriage has had its share of ups and downs. We've even gone through a divorce. Yes, you heard right. Tina and I have been married to each other twice.
And through it all, we've learned that our relationship can only grow with God in the middle, bringing us together on purpose, in purpose, for His divine purpose.
So now we're sharing our story with the goal to encourage and inspire other married couples to love each other as God loves them.
Our family is reconciled. Our relationship is stronger than it's ever been.
Because we know with God in the middle of it all, we can handle anything.
We're not perfect, but we're perfect for each other.
And that's the beauty of it. Because with His love and our love, it's all love. Good morning, family. What's up? We are back like we never left. You heard me? We are here. You here. I love you. You know.
I love you too, but
Yeah.
we did leave.
Y'all don't get to see the behind the scenes stuff that go on, man. It's
they
so
don't
funny.
need to
It's
see behind the
funny.
scenes.
It's funny. Look, we took a little time to ourselves. We just kind of enjoyed kicking it with each other. You know what I mean? Just having some good time. We answered Southwest Airlines question. Want to get away? Yes. Yes, we did want to get away. And we went all the way to the windy city of Chicago. Yes. Yeah. To Chicago.
Road trip.
Road trip. We be tripping. Yeah. That sounds like a love episode. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Let me tell you something. You people from Chicago, what do they call y'all? Chicagoans?
That's what they call people from
Look
Chicago. I'm from Indiana, but you get what I'm saying.
That deep dish pizza? I was not ready.
Deep dish
I was not
pizza.
ready. That's like a pie.
Took Tina all the way to a whole new level of, oh my goodness.
And it took me out. Like the topping fell off and I took a little bit of the topping and I was like, oh my, it was like it burst.
This was like the first time Tina has ever.
Giordano's?
Giordano's. Shout out to Giordano's. That pizza was banging. It was amazing. First thing we had to have was that deep dish when we got to Chicago. I told Tina, she wasn't even ready for it.
I was not ready.
I told her.
And I was trying to get a large, but yeah.
And she was trying to do that whole Pizza Hut movement, man. Like, give me a large. Nah, man. We had a medium, and that was just, listen.
Couldn't do it.
Whole nother topic for a whole nother lover. So let's keep moving, man. When I tell y'all can see the enjoyment in my face when I tell y'all I was so happy to be home.
It's nice to see you home too.
Man, I had a ball. We had a boatload of good times, man.
Yeah.
We walked a magnificent mile. We saw some sights. We were all up in Chicago doing what Chicago things do. And then we went through my home state, Indiana, went through Indianapolis. We got to see Lucas Oil. Listen. Yeah. One of the most relaxing times I've had in a long time. I was able to experience all of this with the best travel partner ever. Best travel partner ever. And speaking of my wonderful wife, man, I did something last love episode, man, that I never did in the history of our love episodes, man.
It's okay.
And I'm like bothered. Like I'm super bothered.
I see.
By all our last love episode. You know, we had some good stuff. We had some good times. We talked about some good things. Laid out some good stuff. But I made a horrible blunder. Like a horrible blunder. And I did not introduce my favor, y'all. I didn't introduce my wife. That is the staple of what we do. I told Christina when we do these love episodes, I'm going to show the whole world how much she means to me. And I didn't do that. I felt so super bad. I mean, it's like, how do you not do that? How do you not introduce your one and only? So I'm making a public apology to my queen. I'm sorry. I did not introduce you. I did not hold up to my end of the bargain. My bad. I promise that was my bad. My bad.
I apology accepted, but I told you it wasn't that big a deal.
It is.
Stuff happens. It's okay.
But that doesn't. You're not supposed to do that.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this. It'll never happen again. Starting now. Y'all know what it is. My name is Brian. How you doing? And this woman right here She is more than the woman of my dreams. She is beauty personified. Y'all don't even understand what it means to me when I get to introduce her. That means I put her up on this pedestal. That's where she belongs. That's why I do it.
All right.
She is the best thing that ever happened to me. She is my lovely wife, Christina. Please say hi to the people.
Hello, Lovasodians. We missed y'all. Did y'all miss us? We missed y'all.
What I missed was making sure I introduced you. And I'm just happy to have done that.
Move on. Move
I'm
on.
just making
It's
sure
okay.
I get that.
But you did. You did. You
Okay.
did a wonderful job. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Listen, today we just want to have a conversation. We just want to talk. We just want to,
We're just going to chill.
we just
sit back
gonna chat it up a little bit. You know what I mean? And we're gonna talk about getting rid of some unhealthy substances. Like when we talk about the word detox, when you hear that word, you hear about what? Juicing, de-herbs, and all of that other stuff. You know, some other form of cleansing the body, getting rid of unhealthy elements, freeing the body of toxins, right? Well, the same way we do that for our bodies, we should be doing that for our relationships. And that's what we're going to do with this love-isode, and it's entitled Detoxing Toxicity. Y'all get that? Detoxing toxicity. There's an insane number of toxic traits that circle around our relationships. And if we're not careful, they can cause a whole bunch of chaos and mass confusion and all this other nonsensical things that can happen in a relationship.
Right.
Toxicity in a relationship isn't just yelling, and it's not just those, you know, unfortunate popular ways of being toxic towards each other. It's those things that we may not think are such a big deal, but they really are. You know what I mean? I saw this poster while I was doing, you know, the homework for this love-isode, and I saw this poster, and for every love language there was an opposite toxic trait. So, for example, the love language, words of affirmation. The toxic trait was lying and manipulation, and what we do is that we'll tell a white lie. Oh, it's not that big a deal. I just kind of, you know, brush it off, you know. And then I try to manipulate the situation so I can get my way. And we think it's not so much of a big deal, but it really is.
It is. It is. I looked up the definition for the word toxin, and it simply just means poison. So anything that's poisonous, your body shows signs, and I'm not going to get graphic with it, but it shows signs when you have when you have toxins in your body, and your body wants to get rid of it. And it's the same thing that happens with your relationships. And if you're not careful, you'll have toxins in your relationship, like lying and manipulation. Those things are poisonous to your relationship.
Absolutely.
The Word of God says that a wise woman will build her house, but a foolish one tears it down. So which one are you?
So there's this skit. I saw it on social media. There's this skit when you're talking about building up and tearing down and wise women and all of that good stuff. There was a woman that was describing her date. And she went on this date with this man. She came home. She kind of gave the review. At the end of the review, she was saying the man wasn't giving her husband vibes.
What in the world is a husband vibe?
This is off the rip. This is off the first encounter, right? So she texts him and says, "You're not giving me husband vibes, so this isn't going to work." This is what she texted the guy, right? So he texted back. He said, "You're right. I don't think I'm going to make you happy. Good luck finding the one that will." Man just flat out said, "Fine, cool, move on. All right, no harm foul, no harm done, right?" She comes back and she's like mad. She's like mad because he didn't try hard enough. She was like, I needed him to try harder. And she said something like she wanted him to fight for her off the rip. Like, this is the first date. Like, y'all went out to like White Castle. Yeah, we went to White Castle. Yeah.
We
yeah.
did this.
It was good. And y'all just had a couple burgers and that was it. You know what I'm saying? Didn't even introduce yourself. Didn't even say like I like long walks on the beach or whatever the case may be. Didn't even get to know each other. And this is the thing that got me. She said all he had to do was try a little harder. I can be manipulated. Who in their right mind wants to be manipulated
Not me.
in their relationship? You want to start this whole thing off
Right.
being manipulated. Like that's okay.
Like that's a good trait
It's
to
not.
have.
It's not a good trait.
Yeah.
Matthew 24:4 says, "See that no one leads you astray." If you are being manipulated, you are being led astray. Manipulation is literally the exercise of harmful influences over others.
Right.
So I'm leading you down a path of not good intentions, right? And this is what she wants. That's a relationship. I don't know if y'all want that. I don't know. I don't want that. I don't
Sounds
want
like
Tina.
she's got some toxic traits.
Absolutely,
herself.
for
If you're
sure.
wanting,
If you want to be,
manipulation,
if you want to be manipulated, that's a toxic trait, 100%.
Yeah.
So if somebody, is in that relationship that's manipulating you, or you want to be manipulated, like this lady wanted to be manipulated, that's not a relationship.
No.
That's absolutely not a relationship. And one of the symptoms of manipulation is lying.
Yeah.
You have to lie in order to begin the process of manipulating your spouse, right? So, Tina, how did you feel when I was lying to you? I was trying to manipulate the situation. Can you tell us how you felt?
Well, we actually talked about this a few episodes ago, and for me, it truly felt like I was having a heart attack. Seriously, it felt like I was having a heart attack. I remember nights where I would literally feel out of breath, and it took a toll on me physically, mentally, and spiritually. The worst part about it was for me the shock of just being betrayed. When you're shocked like that, it kind of puts you in a place where you think, anybody's capable of anything. So it makes it real easy for you to put up this whole wall,
For sure.
and you don't allow anybody to get in, or you don't allow anyone to get back in. Even after you've forgiven the person, like whether I forgave you or you forgave me, and we've had to do a lot of work. A lot of work in surrendering our own personal wills to God so that we could trust each other again. And I remember it was just it was truly hard for me, the healing process, because I just remember, just thinking back, I was jaded. I was so
That's
jaded.
a good word for it. Jaded.
The worst part of being lied to is that it's not in your wildest dreams that the person that you got married to would actually lie to you. It's never your enemy. It's always the one that you've given your heart to, you've given your time to.
That's what makes it hurt even worse.
And the person that you've let in your space, that you're committed to, in every aspect of your life, it's devastating.
Yeah.
It's beyond devastating.
Yeah. It's one of those things that you're like just blown away about, and you're just sitting there like, did this really just happen?
Yeah, makes you rethink everything.
It makes you rethink everything.
Everything and everyone.
And what I remember about this is I would try to make Christina feel guilty. I would try to make you feel guilty. I would try to prey on your insecurities, and I would use this tactic so that I could get out of either, talking to you or spending time with you, because I was being selfish. And truly, the essence of all of this is what that's about, the selfishness. I saw this other little clip where people were celebrating their toxic traits. They would say, what's your favorite toxic trait? And then they would pass the mic and it would say some silly stuff. I like when so-and-so does X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, for real?
Praising
like
God.
I'm sitting here listening to people celebrate and be proud of a toxic trait. To treat your husband or your wife in a way that makes them feel like they did something wrong when they didn't. When you make somebody feel like they've done something wrong and they didn't,
Yeah.
that's you being bad company, ruining your spouse's good morals through the art of deception.
Uh-oh.
Real talk.
That's crazy, because it doesn't matter how the pain comes. Your fault, my fault, it doesn't matter. It doesn't go away easily. And this is when we have to be wise and choose God to help us through it. God is so faithful and so loving. He isn't afraid or offended by any of our frustrations, any of our tears, our anger or confusion. He just wants to comfort and encourage us during your unique relationship issues. He did that for us. So that's why we're here, being able to share this with you. There's one of these scriptures is one of my favorite scriptures. It's 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 3 through 4. It says, "All praise to God, the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. God is our merciful Father and the source of all comfort. He comforts us in our troubles so that we can comfort others. When they're troubled, we'll be able to give them the same comfort God has given to us."
I love the comfort. I don't like to be lied to. I don't like to lie. You know what I mean? And we talk about those quote unquote little lies. Oh, there's good little lies. You know, I'm trying to hide the present, or I'm trying to hide the blah, 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 blah. You know, there's a way of doing that without having to lie.
Yeah.
Like when you ask me questions about presents and stuff, I just dance around it. You know what I mean? Like I don't even, you know, I have my ways of making sure I'm not lying to you, but I'm not giving you the answer you're looking for.
Correct.
Right?
Still lying.
When we're talking about presents, gifts, when I'm trying to surprise you. But if you're asking me directly, where were you? And I go, I was at Leroy and them house. You know Leroy from down the street. You know what I'm talking about. You know Leroy.
Or don't even answer the question at all. Why? What's up?
What you looking for? What you checking?
Deter.
What you checking me for? I'm deflecting and all of that stuff. That's another part of manipulation. I'm trying to deflect, right?
And it's still a part of control too.
Bingo. So here's this other clip that I saw, and it was called like the faith test, and it was to like go through somebody's phone.
Okay.
Right. So these people in a relationship. Let me see your phone. Okay. You know, wait, give me a second. Hold on. All right. What? No, wait. And they're playing with their phone because they got to hide some things, right? So the question is, Christina, do you think hiding your phone from your spouse is a form of lying?
Absolutely. Because of the word that you use, hiding. You're trying to deceive your spouse who has no idea what's going on. You're trying to keep something from them that's in your personal belongings or what have you, and keep it from them. You get together to share life. You don't get together to be separate. So, yeah,
Well,
that's an issue.
Well, when I kept my phone away from you, it was so that I can do it under the disguise of saying you're invading my privacy, right? A lot of us will say, nah, my phone is my phone. That's my privacy. That's my, and especially when you're talking about boyfriend and girlfriends, that's why we don't talk about boyfriend and girlfriends. We talk about marriage.
Yes.
Not talking about dating. We're talking about marriage. See what I did there? You see what I did there? So I'm putting that under privacy when it really was secrecy, because I'm trying to hide the things that were in my phone, the stuff that I wasn't supposed to be doing, especially in the early 2000s. I was like, no.
Yeah, during that time, I don't think either one of us had trust in each other. Boy, have we grown. and matured.
The 2000s were just they were wild, like the early joints, you know what I'm saying, before
Yeah.
the 2010s and everything. That was wild. It was wild.
Yep.
So when Tina says we grown, Tina has my password to my phone. She knows it. I know her password. She can grab my phone, check it, whatever, go through it, see what's in there. I don't have anything, right? I can do the same thing with Tina. What's this? What's that? What's this? What's that? And get the answers to the questions. Like if Tina's phone's going off, she'll tell me to answer her phone. I'm like, yo, hello, how you doing? Whatever. Yeah. Because we're growing, right? We're still maturing. We're still doing what we need to do. And people think that's a little thing. No, that's like a huge thing.
It is.
With cell phones and that's holding your whole life now in some certain cases.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing. And another trait we need to detox is the opposite of the love language quality time, which is self-isolation or withdrawal, right? When two became one, there was this agreement that was made that said, I'm going to spend time with you.
Right.
I mean, after all, we did say, I'm going to spend the rest of my life with you. So, I mean, that's like in essence, you're saying, yes, there's going to be some time that I'm going to hang with you, right?
Most definitely. Okay, so let's get behind this one, especially on this one, because I want to be a little transparent when it comes to this isolation piece. Another form of isolation that I was thinking about when we were talking about this is when you're way too busy to spend time with your spouse, and you're doing it on purpose. You're not doing anything to cultivate your relationship. Let me give you an example. So let's say you and your spouse are in the living room watching TV or what have you. You're not even talking. You're in the same space, but you're not talking. But this is what y'all look like. Or your faces are both in your phone so much you're not using the opportunity of your downtime to cut the TV off, turn the phones off, sit down and talk to one another about your day.
How's your day?
Find out what's going on with them. How are you feeling? I don't know how many times I asked you how you was feeling today. Like about 6 or 7.
33. 33 times.
I asked them a lot.
33 times.
How you feeling? How you feeling mentally? How you feeling spiritually? How you feeling, what did I say, mentally, spiritually?
Emotionally,
psychologically,
yeah.
And he was like, I said I was feeling fine. I said,
economically,
but there's 3 different types of feeling. And he was like, for me, it's all the same.
Everything.
And I'm like, no. See,
that's what dudes do. It's like, yo, you good? I'm good. So when I say I'm good, that covers the whole gambit.
Yeah. So we have to try to spend time with each other and not get isolated. Sometimes, ladies, we get with our girlfriends, go hang out, what have you, get on the phone, start chatting it up or whatever, when our investment is right here. Because this is our for better, for worse, for richer, for poor, sickness and in health. So,
I like it. We're not just sharing space.
No.
We're sharing quality time. Like when Christina and I went to Chicago.
Yay.
It was great. We had A&W. Oh, my God. We had A&W. Like the draft root beer.
Every time I say A&W, you make that
great.
Same face.
It's so great. Y'all don't even understand how great this was. But we went there intentionally.
Yeah.
But how can we do that if we're intentionally isolating ourselves from our spouse? We're spending time apart, just like what Tina was saying. So if we're always spending time apart, the question I'm going to ask is, why'd you get married?
Why? Because there's benefits to getting married. That's really some of the reasons why people get married. One of the main benefits.
Yeah, we get that. Keep it moving.
I'm just saying. There's fun things in marriage.
But then you have these people out here that go, I ain't got to be married to do all that. Well, you doing all that wrong. So moving on.
And that's the accountability piece that people don't want to deal with, because when you're accountable to someone, you have to look at yourself. You have to make some changes. As we've dealt with this before when we were talking about marriage. Marriage changes you because it makes you, it's the only relationship that makes you look at you. Seriously look at you. Your mom and them, your friends and them, all of them, all the other thems. That doesn't do what marriage does. It makes you really put the mirror up to yourself. That means you can't be selfish anymore. Every decision that you make affects someone else. The Bible says in Philippians 2 and 3 that do nothing from selfish ambition or vain conceit, but in humility consider others more important than yourself. Selfishness. Detox that toxicity in your behavior.
When you flush out the selfishness from your body, you're making room for the selflessness that you need to make sure that you are checking in and checking on each other. There's this thing that I saw on social media. It said, my current relationship has taught me that there is no such thing as this is who I am. This is what you were just talking about. Take it or leave it. When you truly love someone, you work on your toxic traits. You learn to communicate. You listen when your partner is expressing their feelings. Like, how can I do any of that if I'm isolating myself from Christina? So if I'm isolating all the time, or I'm withdrawing from her, I'm denying her access to her husband. I'm denying her access to having a connection with me. I'm denying her access to expressing how she feels, or explaining how her day went. You know, I do all of that, and I'm not allowing her to release that stress. So now that's being toxic in and of itself. So as I did that, I created an emotional void for Christina. And that's the side effect of self-isolation.
And you don't want that. You don't want that, because that just grows into
like
emotional
mold.
Emotional abandonment, where both of you start withdrawing emotionally, withdrawing and withholding affection and attention from each other. And that's toxic behavior. That's what makes your spouse start to feel unloved, unsupported, and unwanted.
Unwanted. Proverbs 18:1 says, a man who isolates himself seeks his own desires. He rages against all wise judgment. Two didn't become one just to become two, because that completely defeats the purpose of becoming one.
Hello.
We are one. You know, when you're strangers in your own home, you know what I mean? Like, remember when we did that whole choose your mate? Cellmate? Feel me? Like,
stalemate.
You stalemate. You don't know that person. So when you walk by and you say hello, why are you talking to me? Why are you saying that? Like, everything is a reaction. Everything is a surprise. Oh, you look nice. Oh, what you saying? What you saying? I don't look nice yesterday? I didn't look nice yesterday? Is that what you're saying?
That's toxic.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Instead of just saying thank you.
I'm saying you look nice right now. That's
toxic.
Right now.
And that's self-sabotage.
That's horrifically self-sabotaging, right? But the other side of that is you're saying it now. You didn't say this all the time, so now it's on both sides. So you gotta get used to the newness, right? And it's not one of those things that, you know, if I say you look nice, sure, say thank you. Cool. Right. But that's like Tina said, it's toxic, man. It can, like I said, it completely defeats the purpose of becoming one. The common themes with these toxic traits are, one, they're built to control. That's what Tina said. And two, it's coming from a self-centered focus. I'm only thinking of myself. When I manipulate you, when I lie to you, when I isolate myself from you, I'm only thinking of myself.
Right. Now, ladies, we are not off the hook on this one. When we make statements
I'm glad you said it, not me. I'm going to drink this water.
When we make statements like, fix him and everything will be fine. Or maybe that was just what I was doing. I don't know. But
Oh,
that's what I used to do
you
all the
did
time.
it.
I used to do all the time. Pastor fix them. Therapist fix them. Brother-in-law, sister-in-law fix them.
And
Anybody.
the funny thing is when that happened, those people would say, "Well, what about you?"
Yeah, and then I would just say, no,
Shut
I
all
don't
the
want
way down.
I think we went through a couple therapists. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't like them.
That quack.
I didn't like those therapists. But it's just crazy though, because in a relationship, you both are working on this together, whether you're keeping it on the railroad tracks or you're running it off, you're doing it together.
You're doing it together.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we detox from these toxic traits? How do we flush this out of our relationship system? The first thing we have to do is practice that mindfulness. You got to be mindful of what you're doing. Be aware of what you're doing, how you're saying it. Understand that, you know, if this is not helpful, there's something that you have to do. And I'm going to use the A word. There's this word that nobody really likes to use because people get bent out of shape over it, and that's apologize.
Yeah.
Matthew 5:23 and 24 says, "So then, if you are presented a gift before the altar and suddenly you remember a quarrel you have with a fellow believer," my wife's a fellow believer, "then your gift, leave your gift there in front of the altar and go at once to apologize to the one who is offended." I am supposed to go and apologize for offending my wife, the fellow believer. Then, after you have reconciled, see, that's the reconciliation, after you apologized, come to the altar and present your gift. I find it pretty interesting. Like Tina already just explained it. We can be so kind to the person that we don't know and harsher to the people that we do know. We speak so respectfully to those strangers, and we speak so recklessly at times to our spouse. Is it because we've become so comfortable that we just like, yeah, you'll get over it? Do we become so familiar? No. And that's a toxic trait too.
Yeah.
Over comfortability, over familiarity. Like you think that you just can do whatever because, oh, got a ring on it now. I ain't got to do all of this stuff and blah, 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 blah. You dolled yourself up with all this makeup and then you took the mask off. You're revealing the real you.
Right.
And now you're ugly.
Uh-oh. Well, that's just like what you were talking about earlier with the mindfulness. It's not just being mindful of what you're doing, you're saying, but it's also being mindful of the things that may trigger you. And the reason I say that is because when you get triggered, that should let you know that's an area where you need to heal. Triggers are healing opportunities.
Go to heal. Take that to go heal. And make sure that you're dealing with this. That's something in your past that you got to deal with. Something that, you know, that needs to be dealt with. It needs to be dealt with. So as you're dealing with it, then I have to be mindful to make sure that I'm not purposefully using that word against you.
That's right.
Studying, I think you said it before we hit the camera. Studying yourself, studying your spouse so that you can use it against them.
Right. Instead of highlighting their strengths, it's important that you recognize and those traits you were talking about earlier about lying. You don't only lie to your spouse, but you lie to yourself. So you have to be so self-aware, and that's something that comes with you spending more time with God. God will show you. You need to be more self-aware of yourself to know, hey, this is an area I need to give to God. Share it with your spouse and say, I need you to pray with me on this because these things bother me. And then that gives your spouse an opportunity to learn how to help you walk through this, because you don't have to walk through this alone.
You can be that person's support system. You can be your husband's support system. You can be your wife's support system. You can be that accountability partner to heal, to grow
just
through.
like when and I don't know if you remember what I'm talking about, but when you shared that situation with me years ago,
Yep.
then it helped me to understand, okay, certain situations, certain areas, certain this and that I can't do, or I won't put you in that position so that you can still walk through this and I'm walking through it with you. So I altered some of the things that I would do just so I could help in what you were struggling with. So, and vice versa.
Absolutely.
So,
So another thing that we can do, since we talked a lot about self,
yeah.
is that we can do regular self assessments. Where we're looking at our actions, we're looking at our words, we're looking at what we're doing to make sure that it's right. And if it's not, what can we do better?
Right.
This is where communication kicks in. Like, I should be able to ask Tina, how am I doing as a husband?
Good.
And thank you. And she should be able to give me a husbandry evaluation. She should be able to say, this is what you're doing well, this is not what you're doing so hot. I will hopefully, excuse me, I would hope that you would change this. I would hope that you would change that. And I don't have to get on the defensive and be like, well, that's just the way I am. Or we just read that. You know what I mean? It's not just the way you are. We're always evolving, right? We're always growing. We're always changing. And if you're not, you're being stagnant in your life.
Hello.
So I should be able to use that, what Tina's telling me, I should be able to bump that against my self-assessment so that I can see if the two are aligning, and if they're not, where am I falling short?
Yeah.
You know, is it in my self-assessment? Is it in what Tina's saying or Christina's saying? I got to figure that out so that I can make sure that I'm not so off kilter when I'm doing this evaluation and making sure that I'm passing my husbandry evaluation.
Yeah, that was huge for me when I started that, because finding me or even finding you, especially if you're the type of person that lives a people-pleasing life, you kind of get yourself lost in what everybody else wants, and you don't you get lost trying to figure out who you are because you're just doing what everybody else wants. And you get lost in whatever other people think. You don't know what you think about yourself. You don't know what you want, what you need, things of that nature. And that was hard for me because I was a people pleaser. But I'm here to tell you, which is what God revealed to me, is that in the beginning, He created me and said that I was good. And it was up to me, and also that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. So it was up to me to believe the good that God placed on the inside of me, and that He could cultivate the good marriage that I have so that I can walk in the purpose that we both have together in our marriage. So I won't be able to do that unless I get rid of the poison, the things that I'm thinking about myself and listening to what others are saying instead of what God is saying. So I have to detox the toxicity in myself and in my relationship so that I can walk in what God wants me to walk in.
And that you're doing. Walking it, girl. You walking it. Listen, man, that's our time. That's what we got. That's what we have.
That was quick.
We done detoxed this love episode. You know what I mean? So Christina and I, we just wanted to be a quick blessing to y'all. Hopefully we didn't run over too much time. If we did, it was all necessary. So we just want to say thank you guys for hanging with us. Always enjoy the time spent. But we're gonna go ahead and go spend some more time with each other. Y'all go do the same.
Peaceful progress on purpose.
That's what the shirt says. But before we do that, we really want y'all to go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel by going to It's All Love 109 or following us on our Facebook and Twitter using our handle at It's All Love 109. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you think. Let us know about the love episode. Tina, Christina, my wife, my life.
Okay.
Can you go ahead and pray
That
us
just came
out?
off the dome, huh?
You know, I'm a poet and didn't even know it. Go ahead.
Really? We pray that you've been blessed by what you've heard today and you were able to see the love in the middle of it all. We also pray that the love shown to us by Jesus, you're able to show that same love to your spouse. knowing that you could love them because He first loved you.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Remember.
Remember what?
Remember, with you, your spouse, and God all on the same team, it's
all
all
love.
love. Now, y'all go ahead and get up out of here because that was funny. That was hilarious.
Really?
Gotcha. You didn't even see it coming.
No.
All right, y'all get up out of here, man. That was funny. We'll see y'all.
It wasn't that
It was
funny.
absolutely funny.
It was not.
Don't get mad.